Hi, I'm here with Ben Whitaker, the founder and head of innovation at Masabi. For starters, what is Masabi?
Masabi, we're a London and Boston-based startup which makes it so that public transit users, instead of having to wait in line and get the right money and maybe miss their train, can just buy their tickets on their cell phone. So it means you get on your train, people don't wait around, but also it means that the public transit agency doesn't have to spend all their money on machines and ticket windows. They can save more money and put it into more buses, more trains. It's really part of, as cities grow and urbanization puts more and more people into the city who, because they're moving into smart cities, they're using Uber, they're using bike shares, ride shares, much more public transit. People aren't owning their own cars anymore in the big modern cities around the world, and Masabi very much is a part of that smart city ecosystem, making everything work on the smartphone.
Right, and so, I mean, most of our readers or viewers might not be familiar with Masabi, the name, but there's a good chance they will have used one of the apps you built, because you actually don't build a Masabi app, you build an app for the transit agency.
Exactly, so we've got contracts and doing rollouts with people like New York, Los Angeles, Las Vegas, San Diego, Boston, we've got a very big rollout there. Half the British train companies, so people like Virgin Trains, Great Western. We also just did the capital city of Athens. So for the subway, the bus, the light rail, heavy rail, as we all know, the Greek economy is, having some interesting times. And they wanted to modernize their system. And because we're using mobile phones as the infrastructure for the consumer, but also mobile phones to check tickets and inspect tickets, it means we were able to roll this out in a matter of weeks to a whole capital city. And really that's what a lot of the startups and a lot of the tech activity is. How do we use mobile phones, internet technology, cloud-based systems to leapfrog old, slow infrastructure and deliver that excitement to the smart city to the modern consumer.
So the consumer experience is basically you have the ticket on your phone and then the employee, the transit worker is scanning the ticket on their phone.
Exactly, or you show the phone to a gate or a unit on the bus and that's it, your phone is the ticket and you never wait in line for your own phone.
And so, you were talking a little before that usually when you're going live with a city or a specific agency, you're not the only one who wants to be their mobile ticketing provider. What is it about Masabi that makes them choose you guys?
Well, Masabi really did this for the first time in the United Kingdom. We then set open standards, which the whole industry has adopted. Went over to the US, did some of the first work in Boston and other places showing that it could be done, waking up governments to the fact it can be done. And our apps and back office that runs it tend to be the most successful apps in this space. So for some of our longer agencies, half of all tickets are now bought on the mobile, saving all that money. Other agencies want that same really safe delivery. It's more than just a mobile app. That's like the tip of the iceberg. The rest of the iceberg is the back office, the enforcement and control systems, working with the training and unionized workforces. It's quite a big deal to change city infrastructure. But once you've done it, people's daily commutes are better forever.
So I do want to talk a little bit more about working with governments, because I imagine that can be an interesting experience. But you actually were in the headlines fairly recently because you raised some additional funding, and some of the investors include MasterCard, right?
Yeah, we just announced yesterday $12 million funding, MasterCard and Keolis. So MasterCard, global payment provider, offices all around the world with really good links into government and smart cities. And also Keolis, who are a giant transit provider, again, all over the world. So I was over in Shanghai recently. They operate 3 of the transit agencies in Shanghai. So instead of Masabi, a startup, having to put offices in every single territory, through MasterCard and Keolis' local expertise, we can now make our technology available to more and more cities and areas through these partnerships. So it's not just money we get from these strategic investments and partnerships. It really is a fit between their businesses and activities and ours. We're very excited moving forward with both of them.
So in terms of the expansion, I mean, I have to admit a personal bias of being excited about the New York expansion because I live in New York. And so you're starting out, as I understand it, with Metro North, is that right?
Metro North Railroad will be launching early next year, then Long Island Railroad, and we've got other cities going live like LA and Vegas later in the year. And really the money we've raised is to globalize the business, so to really get us out into further into Europe and the Far East. So it really is going to be a very big year for Masabi coming up.
Excellent. Well, I think we're going to the stage in just a few seconds, but before we do, I don't know if you can answer this, but do you have a favorite mass transit agency or favorite train?
Wow. I'd say my favorite commute in the world will probably be the ferries in Boston, because you can step right out of the city where all of the financial headquarters are onto a boat that has bar and food, and you sail across the bay and it delivers you to beautiful countryside. And in the morning you come in with your coffee and your bagel. That's the perfect commute for me.
All right, well, I'll have to check it out. Thank you so much for joining us. I think we're going to the stage now.